so many guys out there. We can almost say one. The drama continues as always. We just had a president. But you want to be true, you make it true. Play get clicks, but when you go personal, what's really going on? Like, what's going on, y'all? This Greg said it. Back with another one. All right, y'all. I'm back on time. Greg said it live, as promised, as I said I would. Welcome to Greg Said It Live on this wonderful Sunday, the day after this game. I'm sure some of y'all still asleep. I wouldn't even be while I'm playing. Some of y'all probably still in the bed. Got whooped by that game all late last night on the East Coast, all up to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And the sad thing about it, got to do this mess all over again this week. Only Colorado play these kind of games this time of night. And don't be surprised if you get another one or two of these 10 o'clock games at that. And I don't care what y'all say, because I said it for a whole year. And I fought. I'm the originator of the daytime buffs. I'm the originator who stood my ground saying Colorado need to flip their practices. I talked about it for a month straight. Everybody was mad at me, arguing with me. Eventually, I started hearing Coach Prime said like late in the season. Then I heard Warren Sapp talking about it with Neely. And that Coach Prime, and he's like an expert on the Greg Said-Itism of the theory of the nighttime buffs. No, daytime buffs versus nighttime buffs. I mean, anybody who remotely looked at statistics will see what I was saying. I mean, you still gonna look at to this day. Just compare all the games that they just played horrible. They were nighttime games. Yeah, they lost a daytime game, but they typically played a little better. But when you talking about 10 o'clock games, them Friday night, Thursday night games, there's always something freaky going on. And we seen it. We seen it with Houston. They just kind of just unraveled. Georgia Tech, who knows? I do feel like, and we'll get into this, if Salt had played like he did last night, I definitely think they would have beat Georgia Tech. Because he had a chance to keep the chains moving. He had a chance to take advantage. And one thing about Salter that we has shown, and we will continue to see, is he does protect the ball. He do not throw as crazy as he throw the ball underhand, sidearms, and all of that. He do not throw a lot of interceptions. Staub was known for that. That's not something Salter known for. So he's shown that consistently. He's not throwing interceptions. So if he had played like he played yesterday, not just in the flow of the game, but just the ability when instead of standing there waiting for something to happen, take his stuff on off and run, get the first down, Georgia Tech would have been in trouble. Because that was the difference. Georgia Tech beat him by a touchdown. And he didn't even play half as good as he played last night. And, we'll get into that. But Colorado got about 8 games left, regular season. And I know they got to play Utah at Utah. I guarantee that's going to be a late game. And even more so because the last 2 games were day games. See, they went down there with the first year with Prime, and they really beat them. They stole the game. Styles, of course, they stole it, period. They stole it. And they took about 2 touchdowns back from Travis. They took one from Dylan Edwards on a return. They stole the game, and then they barely won by field goal. They stole the game. Miss me with it. They stole it. People try like they ain't stealing these games, doing weird stuff. We've seen how they do it yesterday. We've seen how pretty much every third down they was calling penalty. We seen how they can do little weird stuff and call penalties at the wrong time, at all the wrong times, and how it can affect the game. How you give people 3rd, 4th, and 5th chances. They get your butt beat. Now, they didn't take advantage of that stuff in the beginning of the game, but that's the kind of stuff that'll get you beat. They like, these guys contending. And every other game I watched all night, all day leading up that, it was way more physical and they weren't calling it. So, it's he said, oh, well, they ain't calling Colorado. It ain't nothing they call that really affect the game from Colorado standpoint, but it always affects Colorado. If third, you get out the field, the defense have to stay on the field, giving people chance after chance. That'll get you beat, man. And they did that the whole first year. They did that same crap. Penalties, holding. As soon as they make a big run, they don't run the ball. So they did run the ball. They call holding. A mile after the play over. You know, they call it. He called every play. You ain't, but you ain't calling when they don't rip the whole Colorado lineman, defense lineman. They ain't calling on them. But Colorado, it's questionable calls. They holding, and it's just you throwing off momentum. You giving other teams second chances. You keeping the defense on the field. All that weird stuff going on. So we'll get into that. But Colorado has some stuff. Now I got a couple more theories for y'all today. I'm gonna get into. Y'all remind me. I came up with the music theory. I came up with the whole practice theory, which nobody want to talk about it now. But the people try to swear me down that I was wrong. And hell, everybody play at the same time. For everybody don't practice at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning either. You'll be a lie to say that. Every team don't practice early in the morning. Some do, most don't. I know when I was playing, we practiced 3 o'clock. And that's a whole nother conversation I'm getting to. I think my new theory is great. I don't have to say it a few times because people be slow. They got to catch on. But I got a new theory on why Colorado's inconsistent, and it kind of go hand in hand. It's not hand in hand, but it's kind of similar to why they play bad at night. And how he said he flipped the practice around because he kept trying to figure out why these slow starts. Well, why you got 10 out of your 12 games at night? How they keep getting you these night games and 4, 5, 10 o'clock games? How you keep getting all these 10 o'clock games? You ain't on the West Coast. What excuse they got? What excuse they got that half your games at 8 o'clock? Nobody else ain't playing that many 8 o'clock. I'm looking at these other teams. They spoiled. They only play at 12 and 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Only time Colorado get a 12 o'clock game is big noon out there. And you blaming on because they on the other side. But everybody they playing ain't on the other side. So what's your doggone excuse? Matter of fact, they no longer in the Pac-12. Most of the games they playing ain't going to be from teams on the other side. The fact. Yeah, they play more teams from Texas now. Texas ain't on the other side. Texas is central. It's central. It's 2 other time zones outside of that. Yeah. It's just basic social studies. So Colorado ain't playing on the West Coast no more. They're not playing Stanford. They're not playing UCLA. They're not playing Washington. So where's the dumb excuse from 2 years ago? How does that still apply? So you use that excuse against them when you gave them all them night games 2 years ago. A whole another year later, they still played a bunch of night games. Now, geniuses, explain to me this. They play how many games? Already the ratio's off. So they're going to have to figure something out. But see, they get to decide when they play you and talking about some network. Y'all, I know marketing. You don't know no marketing. Quit repeating stuff you don't know what you're talking about. It ain't benefit him to play at night no more. He play at day because the people who gonna support him gonna watch him regardless. Matter of fact, more people gonna watch him during the day, especially these elderly people who support him. More people are going to watch him at 3, 4 o'clock than they would at 10 o'clock in the day. So you sound foolish to say that, oh, that's prime time. Ain't that prime time about 10 o'clock. Ain't that prime time about that when people falling asleep. And saying, forget this, I ain't watching it. Because I got to get up, go to church tomorrow. I just can't stay up. I had a long day. There's more people clearly going to watch you at 3, 4 o'clock than that. So that's prime time. Now, if you play at 7 o'clock every now and then, that's one thing. But it's 10 o'clock Eastern. 10 o'clock. Miss me. So when you don't play 4 games on 3 of them don't been night, 2 of them have been weekday games, and you already played your first 10 o'clock game, and you about to play another one the very next week. So here it is, 4 out of 5 games been night games, and y'all telling me that's normal? You don't lost your mind. You don't lost your mind. You can go find it. Cause ain't nobody in college football playing that many night games, especially through over season. So yeah, that man needed to flip that schedule. And he was real stubborn about it. Like they do one night game practice. And I watched it on or they'll do a night practice at a walkthrough the night before the game. That's a walkthrough. That ain't practice. There's no intensity there. What's going on? So I'm glad he finally flipped them. Finally, I'm glad he took hold of that. Because he ain't going nowhere. Because they about to hit you with your 4th night game out of 5. Already. You might as well be a night practicing team because all they do is give y'all night games. And I guarantee they're going to give you more night games. I guarantee it. They're going to throw y'all in the back of the doggone thing. Knowing you don't play well. They'll give you 2 weekday games back to back. Come on. And you ain't played well and now one of them. Name any. Y'all, you smart. Name 3 out of these last. This is the 3rd season. Show me any one of the weekday games they played well. All of them was bizarre. It was one Washington State a Friday game, bizarre. One that Stanford game, a Friday night game, bizarre. Where they lived the Halloween cookie game when they came back and beat Colorado like what 29 to zip lead after halftime. Kooky night games, weekday game. That was the perfecto. That was the combination of night game and weekday game together. That's the perfect storm of failure for Colorado, and they know they can give it to them. Until Coach Prime restructure them boys. They out on practicing at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they mess around and have the rest of the day to themselves, parlaying. They ain't think about no football the rest of the day. Cause they done with football early in the morning. That's the first thing they do. That stuff ain't sticking. That stuff is not finna stick. By 11 o'clock, they go on the rest of their day hanging out. Woo woo. We don't know that. We watch well off at the end of the day. They already did that in the morning. They doing what they want to do the rest of the day. They ain't watching no film or nothing. You say, why you ain't watching no film, man? Football. They already did their football for the day. That's why they ain't watching no film. They ain't giving no excuse. That just came to my head. They don't have a football and they going to do whatever they want to do the rest of the day. They is not thinking about no football because you did it so early in the day. I think Pat still stuck. He always run out of plays to run. He don't use the tight end much. He don't run the ball heavy. Yeah, he I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, Colorado, the running backs is stronger. I mean, Hayden came in, he had some hard runs, and you see Price been playing well. So, they got the running backs. That's no excuse. Oh yeah, they weren't finna call that one on my boy 88. That I mean they took an hour to throw that flag. Man, he don't hit wrap this whole arm around him and Matt Neal and took him down when they caught that long run back. He held them for an hour in the wide open field. I'm saying like hold it. It's like the fool took forever to finally throw that flag. And, it was horrible. But that's how they've been holding Colorado for years. But Colorado do a little piece of a hole. A blow on the quarterback net, personal foul. Shador again, body slam, DDT, suplex from the top rope before doing it after the play, and nobody said nothing. But Colorado make a mistake. It's like how they bump into the punter on mistake and throw a flag. They just bump into look at the quarterback wrong. A personal foul, and they're always on the third down. Tell me y'all geniuses why it's always on the third down. It ain't on the first, it ain't on the second. You matter of fact, I guarantee you Colorado by now had to broke the history on third down penalty. Somebody pull that. Coach Prime, why don't you go pull that? I know y'all listening. Somebody go get it to him. Go see how many third down. How all y'all penalties, 99% of y'all penalties seem to come on third down. Especially when it comes to your offense. I mean, your defense. Your defense got more third down penalties than anybody on the planet Earth. And that ain't a coincidence. Every time they see y'all about to get off the field, they throw a penalty. It's gonna be a holding call, pass interference. It's gonna be a personal. You don't let your lineman get near a quarterback. It's gonna be a personal foul, roughing the passer. Everybody bumping to the quarterback. If it's even an inch after he throw the ball, they throwing that flag. Yeah, they put Big Barnes out. I ain't really see it. I seen kind of went across his face. I ain't really see it. It ain't like he ear hold him. But it's like Shiloh grazed that man face, man. I watched a game yesterday. The guy, I don't know what that was. I don't know which game it was, really. The guy came down. It might have been Utah. He came down and hit the guy on the sideline right in the ear hole. And they called a person foul and they about to throw him off a target. I mean, his helmet hit the man in the head with the top of his head. They didn't even put him out the game. Shiloh helmet grazed the front of the face mask. Right across the bottom of it. Oh, he trying to kill him. They put him slap out the game. Big Barnes didn't even hit head to head or head to neck. Man, he went across that man and it hit him across his face mask. It didn't hit him in the head. And they put that boy out the game. But I watched so many games, these people go head to head. I didn't know that. I mean, head to head. Like, they could have killed each other. Nope. No one putting them out the game. No one putting them out the game. Yeah. I don't know, man. That safety situation different. I see they put Cam Michael. I'd rather see him at safety. I don't know. They do some weird stuff. Cam Michael, I think, would be a better safety, especially when you are already staying in safety. And I know the cornerback room is going through something. I don't know what happened to RJ or whatever. And this is one of my points. So I find it mighty interesting. I'm just gonna let it flow. I ain't gonna even hold it back. So I find it mighty interesting that Coach Prime being, Mr. Skill guy, he really do more better with receivers. I would think that him being who he is, he would attract better quality DBs. But to me, it seemed like to me, he struggled finding good DBs. Like all the way back to Kamani. He brought Kamani in. Oh, he stole another five. So Kamani looked like he was lost on planet Earth somewhere. He just lost. And I'm sitting here like, I'm sitting here like, what's up with that? Like, why is he every year? It's hard to find two good cornerbacks. He let Colton Hood go, and it's like DJ McKinnon played decent. I don't feel like I'm sorry, man. That's not a first rounder. He never been a first rounder to me, and I'm not bashing. I'm just saying I see him as a good third, fourth round, like a typical quarterback. He is not a first round. He's not dominant. He made some plays enough that he gonna get drafted. He got nice size, but he is not no lockdown. He's not no Jalen Ramsey. He's not no lockdown cornerback. He gives up too many plays, and he always have at practice and everywhere. So let's get that straight. So when you say cornerbacks, you say him, no. And it's sad that you can't find you never every year. He had the cheat code. He had Travis for years. All you need to find was one other cornerback, and it was always hard to do. It was always hard to do. And then he get hurt. It's really hard to do because now you need two, and that's a problem. He should have let to save his life. He should have did whatever he had to do to keep Colton. Keep Brandon. I mean, these running backs ain't too much. Brandon. Keep Brandon. Keep his brother and make him happy, man. But I don't think they value Colton Hood. Yeah, they're always getting burnt. I don't think that they value Colton Hood. He sat on the bench a little too much last year. He really was the second cornerback last year. I felt like he was a better cornerback than McKinney, really. But when Travis went down, it was no doubt that Colton should have been the one on the field. Yet, when we lost to Kansas State, them fools put Hodge at cornerback as he already been burnt, UCF and everywhere else. He always getting burnt. Hodge always getting burnt. He make a knockdown, a pick every now and then, but he stay getting burnt. He got some heavy feet. To me, him being one of the top guys in the portal that year, I always confused, like, what's going on with Hodge? Is he hurt? Like, he's not looking like that kind of corner they said he was out the portal. He gets beat too much and on simple stuff, slants and stuff like crossing your face. That's fundamental. And some people try to sell him like, oh, he's so good. He's not. He's not. He's not that good as y'all trying to make him out to be. And so when you look at Colton Hood, I felt like, if people say favoritism, call it what you want. I felt like they didn't treat him like they should have treated him. They should have treated him like the stud he was. But it's almost like they treated him like you all right. But he was the most physical. He was the most consistent. He was the most reliable cornerback. And I don't understand how you end up in a situation where he leave and his brother leave, and it's like, okay, his brother ain't want it. Why his brother ain't want it? Well, I don't know what's going on there, so I can't speak. But he ain't too much more different than these running backs y'all bringing in. They're all short and they all the same height and size. Brandon Hood ain't no more different than maybe Price is a little bigger. But I'm saying like all of them built the same. Price built like Hayden. And Brandon was built like Welch. They all built the same. So if you really valued Colton Hood and all it was keep his brother there, you needed running backs. You was losing them. They were jumping in the portal. So Brandon really, I don't know, he really should have been thinking about the next opportunity unless somebody did tell him to leave because his opportunity was right there. That's why we end up had to go how many get 2 more running backs out the portal. Not like you went and got something extra better. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think sometimes people make horrible plays and they make one and then somebody try to hang their hat. That's that one play. I don't think BYU finna bully nothing, honestly. You want to oversell BYU. BYU is not the same BYU from last year. I think they got a rookie quarterback. I don't think that BYU is good. Just like y'all try to oversell Utah and then Texas Tech went and spanked them. Like, you want to oversell these teams. Colorado's their biggest enemy. Colorado's their biggest enemy. Their own biggest enemy. It's not the other teams they playing. Georgia Tech didn't beat Colorado. Colorado beat themselves playing lackluster and making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, Colton Hood definitely was a strong cornerback. He definitely had the speed. He definitely had the skill, and he had the aggression, tenacity. He should definitely have been if he was playing on the other side of Travis, and they already locked in on McKinney. But it opened up. Travis needed breaks. Travis got hurt. It should have been automatically Colton Hood. No questions about it. If Colton Hood was on that field, we would have beat Kansas State. There's no way they threw that up, and Colton Hood don't knock that down or pick that off. But you put on Hodge, you always get dumped on. That's the crap that bothered me. I'm like, why is Colton Hood? He already don't picked off a ball that game. Why was he out there? He wasn't hurt. Why was he not out there? I don't know. Why don't they play parts and BJ best? I don't know. I don't know if they injured or what because I ain't see BJ. I don't know what's going on. But I don't think DJ is good. Not he's not a first round at all. He'd be happy to go to fourth round. Third round be good for him. He's just not, man. He's not a lockdown corner. He's not consistent. He does make plays. He is bigger. He will tackle. But he's just the better cornerback that we got. Yeah. Well, thank God you ain't run. It ain't you who we base everything on. But you'll be a lot to say that Utah ain't oversell. If Utah ain't oversell, how was they ever ranked? Utah just had a losing season last year. Yet they come out ranked. So since you don't do it, then tell me nobody do it. Because Utah last year was the SARS they ever been in a minute. SARS in the company, and yet they was able to come out here and get a rank. That's like SEC. Utah get ranked every year. Like they did a great thing. They was ranked last year, they didn't deserve it. And I kept saying Utah ain't hit on nothing. Cause I watched us really beat Utah the year before that. And I'm sitting here like, why is Utah ranked? They get to get a deserved ranking every year just because of their name. And when I grew up, Utah wasn't hit on nothing. So I don't act like people, they world beaters and stuff. Utah was nobody. I used to think about Utah. I didn't even know Wyoming was group of 5. I always thought they was like in the same Utah, Wyoming, Houston, New Mexico State. I used to see people play them as doggone cupcake games like UGA and beat the mess out of them. Like they ain't even out there just for fun. That's what I always thought of them like. So Utah ain't never been nobody until like all of a sudden they world beaters when Colorado started playing. I'm like, Utah? It's like Houston. Houston ain't never really been like that. They moved up. I think they was in the American Conference. So some of these teams moved up from lower. I remember Utah, they didn't moved up. I had thought Wyoming was higher than Utah, really. But yeah, Utah ain't really hitting like that. You say Preston is a free safety. Yeah, I think Preston probably will be a good free safety. Absolutely. Yeah. The line. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that about the line in a minute. I'm gonna get into the line about a minute. When I get into my good, bad, and ugly, which I do every week. Good, bad, and ugly. Davis for Davis. Davis, you my Davis Swain. Davis Swain didn't have he wasn't even dressed, was he? You my Davis Swain. Tarikas. I know they got a lot of injuries. So you don't get good corners. They always get pushed out of league. Well, Cooper got moved. Cooper got moved from corner to strong safety, which probably was a better position. Cooper has some heavy feet and some locked hips, but he was one of the Cooper reminded me a lot of really McKinney. Except McKinney get a lot more favor and hype. Like, oh, he's the dog. When he first came over, he's a first rounder. Cooper, to me, it plays a lot like McKinney. He make mistakes just like McKinney. He's big size and he would come up and hit. Probably even harder than McKinney. They really similar style player. Except for some reason, they don't talk down on McKinney. He don't have a short leash. Cooper had a short leash. But he reminded me a lot of McKinney. Ain't soft. They deserve to be. They okay. Ain't you want to say you the one that never amped up Utah? They deserve. What are you talking about, man? How you deserve to do something? You had a losing season last year. You came out of a losing season last year. You got a brand new quarterback. How did they deserve to be a top 20 ranked team? What are you talking about? That's just like saying Colorado deserved to be ranked. And they had a better season than Utah last year. Now, how do you say they deserve to be ranked? Deserve mean you earned it. They was ranked from the very first game, from the beginning of the season. They didn't do nothing. They came off a losing season and they was ranked. What do you mean they deserved it? But you say you ain't never. Oh, let's see. I tried to. BJ isn't hurt. He posted a picture of the ground with him playing Coach Prime. So, like, we don't put the stars in from last game if they hurt. That's why Hayden didn't get in. We don't put the stars in if they got hurt. I don't know, something going on. Yeah, Davis Wayne was over there with just a jersey on. Can it be some of the kids' grades? It could be a lot of stuff. Like I say, I don't know what's going on. I know it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that go on, grades and all kinds of stuff going on. Not watching film. He keep begging these doggone silly dudes while watching film in high school on my own. And like I said, I think it got a lot to do with that morning practice because you practice in the morning, you all focus on football, and then it's like once you leave the locker room, you ain't think about football unless you just really like that. Especially you ain't a grad student, you got classes and stuff like that. And then you go out there and you watching film. Not watching film. You go on hanging out with your friends, hanging out, trying to be a college student. Football is behind you at that point. When I played ball, football was in front of me. Like you did all that, and then you had practice later. So it was always in front of you. We ended our day with football. If you had a night class, it was after football practice late. But you went to football and then you went to dinner and whatever, and study hard, whatever. Football wasn't about, we might watch film in the morning, something like that, and then come back to practice later. But it was never like you could like 6 o'clock, I'm done with football. I stepped on the off season when you lift or something like that. In the off season, you may lift weights or whatever, and you can choose to go to the morning session, the afternoon session, something like that during the off season. And you choose, I'm gonna go in the morning session so I can get this crap over with, work out, be done with my day. Boom. You don't want to be doing that during the season. Cause once you done, you done. I ain't thinking about nothing about no football the rest of the day. I've got my workout out the way. These boys ain't watching film because they done. Stop playing all these guys on offense. Put the ball in Sincere, Omar, and letting them. Well, you can't omit Joseph Williams. You definitely can't omit Joseph Williams. You definitely better have Joseph Williams involved in that. Sincere, Omarion, Joseph Williams, yeah, definitely gonna make plays. Them three. That's like you had Jimmy, Shepard, and Travis last year, your main three. You definitely want your main three to be Omarion, Sincere, and Joseph Williams. Them should be your main three. Now everything else is nibbling, but you should have your three. I'm surprised by the tight end not doing much. He was so athletic, he was so big. And I could have sworn we had 2-3 tight ends. What happened to the other younger tight end who bigger than he is? Like what happened to the tight end room? Because you add that component to the game, it's a wrap. Because he ain't blocking worth for nothing. He can at least go catch. You kept saying we want blocking tight ends, but and I know that was with the old tight end coach, but if they get that element going, it's a wrap. I need to use Q6 more instead of Draylon. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have more playmaking. I want to use Draylon except in like specialty packages out the backfield. What's going on? Straight out the backfield. I mean, using him for a slot is a waste because you got too many good slot receivers. You got Hard you ain't using. You got Gibson you barely using. Then you still got Mathis. Mathis is a technician when it comes to route running. He's quick. He's sure-handed. He knows where to be. You're not even using them, but you're using Draylon. So, yeah, Draylon is more like I say, coming out the backfield, specialty packages, stuff like that. Yeah, the tight ends is I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. He know to be secret. Oh, Tim is trying to make a case. Tim is out there blocking. Tim is out there catching. See, one thing about See, that's why people holler favoritism. I don't know what Tim is doing in practice, but Tim was the hardest working at practice, so we can't say he don't practice hard. During all season, he was all in the camera trying to work hard. Timmons was the last season. T.O. was like, who was 82? We thought Timmons was gonna do something last season. He got injured. Timmons is really, when he came from NC State, he was a big deal. Timmons, you know, he big size dude. He can jump. He's athletic. He work hard. So I don't know. Timmons might make a case for himself. He just need to keep grinding. I don't know what's going on with Timmons, but Timmons is he's another one of those guys I like for us, like the big boy. I call the big boy packages. When you put Sincere out there, him out there, and the Marion, and you go big in the red zone. The big boys. You gotta find a way to use Timmons. Yeah, man. You know, when you had them two backs in the backfield, Draylon should be running up. That's how I use Draylon. You putting Price and Welch back there. I would put Draylon as one of them and put them match him with a running back. That's how I would use Draylon. Because he's a sure out the backfield. Yeah. Or you put him and Taylor in the backfield at the same time. And y'all do the little cross thing, then they run their routes. That's how I would use Draylon. Straight up Debo style. Yeah. I mean, if you line him up in the backfield, you know he's gonna be a mismatch. Because now you linebacker on him. And that's where his strength will be at. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's always a problem with them. They're not using their weapons. But hopefully they figuring some stuff out. The offense looked a little more fluent, not just from compared to last year, but this week, much more emotion. It was more diversity in the plays. It was all that stuff going on. So, for sure, I give them that much credit. I give them that much credit. The plays looked a little more like college and not, B team. Yeah, I feel like they definitely get you. You better be getting more comfortable. I think they all getting more comfortable. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think they all should be getting more comfortable at this point because okay, you don't played a few games, you've been moving people around. Now it's time to let them settle in, especially Salter. You can't tell me he shouldn't be getting more comfortable because this. He new. All these boys are new. So yeah, it's not a preseason game. That's why you supposed to play the cupcake games in the beginning because they give you a chance to figure stuff out. Unfortunately, they did this Scooby Doo schedule where they jump in, jump out, cupcake, uh, go play a conference game, and come back to a cupcake. That's weird. I don't care what nobody said. That's weird because you can't tell me they want to benefit it from playing Wyoming last week before you go to Houston and played this game versus Wyoming last week. Even though that the quarterback situation was exposed with Houston, but I don't know. But I feel like if you played this game last week, you'll play Houston differently from an offensive standpoint. It's from an offensive standpoint. All right. And defense, mm, you know, you know, yeah. Timmons, he got it now. I think he made the best out of him. Yeah, they not taking advantage of that size, you know. And see, when you take advantage of that size, that put a little more pressure on them DBs because now you can't double everybody. You need to double him, but you can't double everybody. And now while they watching him, that just makes Salter just that much more dangerous. That's what I said all season. What's gonna make Salter dangerous? Them big receivers, that big tight end, y'all ain't gonna be able to be blitzing and not have to really put some effort into covering the Sensor Brown or the effort to covering Marion. Y'all gonna need two people, one over top. You're gonna need that to stop them, or they gonna tear you up. And if you're doing that, it takes a lot more of that heat out the box, and it softens your defense. And it'll open you up for Salter to be able to run. Cause in the day, Salter in an open field 1-on-1 with a linebacker in the day is a problem. He's so doggone slippery and slithery. He did look like he jogging and he just slide past you. It looked like he don't go down and he keep running, go out of bounds. He looked just like himself. He definitely looked like himself yesterday. No, I don't think I never have. I mean, we've been talking about it for 2 years. I don't think they knew how to do it last year or the year before. Was that many weapons? No. Yeah, they look more diverse. Look like an actual defense now. Well, The route concepts got to be bad, and also I seen some film where they just had to been running the wrong routes. I seen Draymond running the wrong route. So if you supposed to be dragging and then you running a square in and the other guy running a post, y'all can end up in the same spot. So I can't put it all on the coach because I know some of that stuff is your players not executing. They keep talking about execute. We see they not executing. Now, how you don't know your route, I don't know, but I do know. So I'm gonna give y'all this theory before I get in the good, bad, and ugly and end this thing. So I was gonna try to wait, but I can't hold it back no longer. Y'all ready for this? This is Greg said it theory. Now, like I said, I gave y'all the music theory. And we saw Swayze came in and switching, and people hear me. Oh, they took their music off. They're not a music-driven team like they used to be because they had to do. And believe it or not, no matter how stupid the game was yesterday, Colorado don't get as many penalties as they used to. They used to be the most penalized team. Nobody talk about that because we've been talking about everything else, quarterback battles, this, that, that. Colorado, outside that nonsense, what we'll get into later, good, bad, and ugly, them penalties, Colorado's not penalized because they are a lot more clear-minded. But this is my new theory. Check this out. For y'all football guys who played football, college, whatever, high school, but definitely college. Yeah, Delaware gonna be a good team, man. I don't think they played a sorry team yet. I don't think Houston is good. Everybody try to sell up teams like Utah. I don't think Houston is gonna have a bad season. We know Georgia Tech not gonna have a bad season because Georgia Tech ain't got a hard conference, and they already beat Clemson. The only player they better watch is Syracuse. Syracuse will get them because they'll sneak them every year. So yeah, but Georgia Tech gon' get to the conference title. But I don't think they're gonna win the conference because they're gonna have to play whoever on the other side, and it's gonna be either Florida State or Miami, and they playing good. And I don't think that they got enough talent to beat the Florida State or Miami, especially with a quarterback who think he's gonna run all year and be all beat up by the end of the season. So I do believe Georgia Tech, unless they just do some dumb mess, which they're capable of doing, I do think Georgia Tech should be in the conference championship, just looking at their schedule. But I don't think they're the best team in the conference. I do think it's a couple other teams that can beat them. With that being said, Georgia Tech, if they go undefeated in one game, whatever, they already gonna be ranked in the top 10. They gonna go to the playoffs, even if they don't win. They should, because they're gonna try to take a couple teams from the ACC. So all Georgia Tech got to do is win out. Even if they lose in the conference title, they should still get a seat in the playoff. So that's on Georgia Tech. That's on Georgia Tech. But I think Delaware is gonna have a good year over in the American. I think they're gonna have a good year. I don't think that was a sorry team. I just think they were just undersized, under whatever, and that's how they CU benefited from that. Quarterback is kind of new. He backup quarterback. He making mistakes. Colorado benefited from that. Houston is not. Their defense is good, and their quarterback is decent enough. They should be at least a little over 500. They gonna sneak a couple teams. They gonna drop some games, but I don't think they sorry. I don't think they played a sorry team yet. I don't think they played no pushover teams. It's even for their level. Like Wyoming, for their level, they may be decent, but they just ain't got what it takes. This clear. They just Colorado play a half decent game and beat them easy, playing with their food. Queso that, yeah, he looked like his old self. He definitely looked like his old self. So let me get into this theory. Oh, I think they needed a loss. I mean, they needed a loss to get rid of this quarterback nonsense. Yeah, I mean, hey, coaching is a real thing. What about? Yeah, yeah, them boys, Miami, Florida State, gonna be one of them. What they say? I mean, I think that's out of order. Now let me tell y'all, this is my theory. Now y'all hear this out. Hear this out. This is what y'all come here for. You go to every channel for different stuff. Greg said they're gonna give you this. This ain't a conspiracy theory. My theory is solid. This is why I believe Colorado can't play a full game. This is why I believe they can't get right. So I was doing some research because I heard Coach Prime make a comment about their practice schedule. He still talking about their practice schedule a lot. He trying to manipulate it. I read, let me see. I'm gonna read it from the source. They say that Colorado Colorado says, okay, NCAA says a 1 hour NCAA football practice session is permitted. The limits are countable. Athletic related activities have a maximum of 4 hours per day, right? So they got us figure out everything 4 hours per day, and it says the 1 hour must fall within 20 hours per week weekly. 4 hours per day, 20 hours per week is the structure. So basically, that's when they come up with these 1 day on, 1 day off. Okay, I've heard Coach Prime go out there for the last couple of years and say, just give me an hour, 10 minutes. That's all I need. You know, he to the number, hour and 10 minutes. I'm like, what kind of practice is that? I know when I played, we practiced 3 hours. Now I know NCAA changed a lot of stuff, but let me tell you why Colorado struggles on developing really quick. Because old school, we would practice for 3 hours. High school, college, you name it. These guys go out there for an hour practice. They have about a meeting in the morning. They probably like an hour, 45 minutes look like. Well off being there, they be sitting there all waiting in the little theater and they watching videos and the coaches coming up there lecturing them. That's part of your football related activities. Then they go into the rooms and they go to their individual position rooms for probably 45 minutes to an hour. And then they look at and talk and whatever. That's football related activity. They might throw weightlifting in there every now and then and what else they doing. That's why they have to watch film on their own. And that goes back to my other theory. So this is what's going on. If you do an hour here, an hour there, and then you put an hour to football practice, you probably got a little time left over. If you do an hour and 10 minutes, whatever. That's not enough time to really, one, master anything. That's why they hoping all them mental reps and all those meetings and lectures and all that help, but it ain't helping see you. They need to throw that away. They need to do a lecture once a week because they need as much time on the field as possible, but you only allotted 4 hours a day. And if you cut back on, that's what he said, restructure, maybe that's what he's doing. But they're not getting enough reps on the field. Like they cramming a lot into that hour. So like a lot of the fundamentals and stuff, like shoot, when we practice, probably the first 30, 40 minutes was drills alone. Tackling drills, individual position drills alone, 30, 40 minutes. Then you went into, you warmed up, then you did those skill drills. Then you went to like 7-on-7. Then you went into offense versus defense, and then you went into team, and that was like the structure. Team, you might do special teams some days. Of course, you do special teams on right before the game, but you might do a little bit of special teams each day. So, because you had 3.5 hours of practice, so you was able to cover a lot and go over a lot and work on a lot of specific things. But when you only got an hour, now all you ain't got time to do a whole bunch of individual drills and get a lot of reps on 7-7 and you got to cut everything down. Your reps is limited. So I'm thinking that's what make it. Now I know every team probably cut it however they cut it differently, depending on how they want to structure it, because they're giving you those 4 hours to decide. But I'm thinking tackling week. I'm looking at, okay, they not really seem like they grasping. It look like they just kind of throwing out there like, hey, y'all not been practicing? It look like they just ain't got enough reps. Not just together, but just reps in particular. Like the fundamentals, like they're definitely not doing the mental reps outside of practice. The man say you're not watching film and all that. It's gonna take that in this type of environment. And I don't know if they have that discipline or love for what they're doing like that. Because especially when I said they're practicing so early in the morning, shoot, by noon, they gone with the rest of the day. They ain't think about no football. They didn't think about no football. Because the rest of their day is they already don't did football practice. So, you ain't think about going back and watch film. I don't did football for the day. You see? So that what you talking about, that's what I'm just describing. You say they regress. They's like they're not making corrections quickly enough, or they making the same mistakes. You practicing for a freaking hour. And you got travel days and all that included too. So you really ain't practicing but what, 2-3 days a week. So that's 3 hours a week you got to prep. You say they're not watching film. You got all this other lecture and all that. They probably halfway sleep. You already, all the comments you making showing they're not the most disciplined people. They're not the most you don't love the game, all that stuff. So Right. They was already splitting reps. But you got limited practice. They don't let them do 2-a-days. Think about that. We used to do 2-a-days. Really, we did 3-a-days, honestly. Because you in 3 weeks, you trying to cram all you can to prepare for that season. They don't even allow them to do 2-a-days no more. The NCAA has watered down so much. That's why these teams have such slow starts to the season. It's so and then you expect them. You say it's not enough to master something. So then that means everything they doing, you're gonna have to trust that they're able to do that on their own. Um, on their own away from practice. And you hoping they do that, but they're not. Because you can't do it. Like it's so many hours the coach, so many days during the off season that the coach can be out there with them. You hoping that they doing it on their own, but you can't do it. You see? So I believe that's why you see that almost watered down regression that Alan said. You almost see this low level type of play. Like you looking at like they playing like high school just in the fundamental areas because they don't look like they know their routes. They don't look like they know their assignment. It's like you could tell they're not putting the hours in, but it's not that they're not putting the hours in only on them. They can't put a certain amount of hours in. So now everything else gonna have to be up to you to be that kind of student of the game, and I just don't think they are. We used to think that it was abuse. It's almost like Hell Week or something. We thought that a month. We thought that it was abuse, but really, it's you. That's where your reps coming in. It's just in a condensed period. You out there in that hot sun. It's almost like they're just trying to like break us. Yeah, in a sense, you want somebody to be broke. As far as your body being, prepared for the heat and all that stuff, but at the same time, you getting a condensed amount of reps in those 2 days. You basically getting 2 days is like 2 days. That would have been one day. And you talking about that our practice was 2-3 times longer than theirs. So just think about the amount of reps you getting. But this is the even bigger issue that I know y'all. I hope some of y'all smart enough to catch this. Check this out. If you only practice an hour, how long are you playing the game? I'm gonna say it one more time for the people way in the back, way in the back, way in the back. If you're only practicing for 1 hour, how long is the game? The game we watched all night, falling asleep, leaning and rock with, was that game 1 hour? So check this out. You wondering how in the world these kids can't play a full game? They can't play a full game. They play one good quarter. Like Colorado played one good quarter. Well, ain't that what I said about practice? I'm talking about practice. We ain't talking about film. I'm talking about the reps in practice. We're not talking about film. This conversation is not about film. Film is what they will have to do outside of practice anyway, because they ain't got time to include that because they only got 4 hours a day. So I ain't saying nothing about film that's causing this. Same thing going on. Yeah, I mean, you seeing it. You seeing the level of play go down across the board. We seeing tackling is an issue for a lot of teams. It's just not to the same degree as Colorado. But we seeing tackling. We seeing it in the NFL. Tackling is not what it used to be. They don't want you to hit them hard. Most people don't even want to use their shoulder pad and helmet, but a lot of people barely even got shoulder pads and helmets on. Let's be real. They barely got pads on. Maybe that's part of it. They not really hitting. They reaching. And that's how it's so much arm tackling. But I think at the end of the day, if you program, just look at that. That's why I say it correlates. It correlates with, appreciate it. This correlates with what I was saying with the night practices. I was saying, and Coach Prime, he preaching on it now. And I'm the one who said it. Don't get it twisted. I ain't here for nobody. I took the heat for this. Your body, I broke it down to a science, psychology, and all that whole last fall for weeks. You still talking about that. Well, now we know why. Because your mind, it's like working a night shift. Your mind and your body, it can work against each other. And if you used to laying in the bed at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock, and you used to working in the morning, and then all of a sudden somebody tell you to do something at night when your mind's already shutting down, your clock, your biological clock is already, now somebody barking at you and you slow to respond because I call you in sleep mode. You in sleep mode. So you have to trick that body to say, okay, while we used to be chilling and hanging out and playing PlayStation, We gotta your blood rate, your heart rate and everything lower. You gotta train your body to operate on an intensity that it's not normally doing at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night when you hanging out. So you gotta train your body like a horse training to run and all the repetition. You gotta train your body to do what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it, or else you're a fool. Same thing with practice. If your practice is only an hour, and this ain't all their fault, but if your practice is only an hour, what you ain't even going full speed. You ain't going to the ground. You already know all that. You kind of repping it out, but then you got to go play for 3 hours. That's what I respect about our practice. We practiced for the same amount we played. We practiced for 3.5 hours every day. So you used to being in equipment, standing in the heat, sweating like a dog, being tired for 3.5 hours. So the game is the same length as your practice. But if you're going out there and practice for hours and get off, you wonder why they don't know how to play a good quarter. You wonder why, boy, they played a good second quarter. Boy, the first quarter was good. Their mind is so wired. It's like attention span. Their attention span is limited to focusing for an hour at a time, not 3. See what I'm saying? Their attention span and their focus is in an hour spurts. So you wonder why they played a good quarter, a good half, and then they like this in the rest of the game. You're like, no, they don't lost focus. Your practice schedule has a lot to do with all that, man. It has a lot to do. That's why it's practice. So that's why you're doing it. You ain't just practicing plays. You're programming your body and your mind to do something almost second nature. Because you got to be second nature. Because what if you freaking tired? What if you hurt? You can't expect your mind to kick in. Your body's gonna have to automatically know what. That's why the military train. They can do it on one leg, get shot. You know, they can carry somebody with a leg shot. You can't even sit still with a leg shot. But they train. They put military people. We talked about all this. Military people, man, they would drop them off in Alaska just to prepare for war with nothing but a bag. Don't even give them food and nowhere to sleep and say, all right, we'll come back and get you in a week. And then they like, oh, shuck. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? They do that because in war, and they're going to put you in an environment that you're going to be going into. They want your body they want you to be able to have experience and familiarity with crazy situations that you end up in. If your whole unit get blown up, you have to run off in the woods like you see in the movies. Then they got to figure a way to survive. They got to go hunting. They got to go know how to make a place a shelter out of nothing, out of some sticks, they got to know how to do that. You can't just put them out there and expect them to do the crap. Only it's people who ain't never experienced nothing. This watered down culture today. Do you expect people to not have what my guy say right here? Survival skills. I'm gonna put you in the middle of war and ain't simulated war. I gotta put you in the worst situation you can be in. Not this 1st and 10. No. He do stuff like, oh, he down, who next? Yeah, that's cute. But you gotta do that overall. You got to do that overall. Those are simulated situations because that's what's required in war. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. You know, okay. How do you play? That's why people weren't just cruel. They were cruel. Why did they make you practice hurt? Why did they make you play hurt? Because what happens if you get in the game and your ankle hurt? Do you just come out and not play, or have you ever played hurt? I'm not saying that's good long term, but you might have to play hurt. And if you never done it, you always barred up in fetal position, have them carry out the field every time you hurt some and go in the locker room and take your pads off. You're not going to be able to master anything. So all that crap about them putting you on the stairs till you throw up and your legs high, because you don't know what's going to happen in the game. It could be one of them days. That's why Michael Jordan and all them people had a flu and scored 67, 80, 100 points. And they be like, oh, his body's so on autopilot, his mind and everything gone. And he's still able to do it because his body is not dependent on his mind. His mind is sick. His mind is tired. But your body don't already been trained to go through all that. That even when your mind be like, I'm tired, your body almost on autopilot. So now he got the pneumonia and he being you. Because his body is trained. His body is trained. That's what training. See, that's what they don't understand about training and conditioning. Exactly. That's why they need to do less talking and do more walking. They need to cut them means down. They can do that in the first of the week because they do that mean every day, and that's time they can use on the field. See, that's when he say restructuring. He need to restructure. They need more reps on the field because they already don't rob them out of 2 days. They don't rob them out of the count. Players are new. They don't want to take you 6 games before the players start playing right. You don't bench the people and everything. They just not figuring out how to play the position. Colorado, I have a slow start. The defense done kick last year, done kick in and start sacking people to what? 5th, 6th game. 5th, 6th game. Yeah, they better play. They don't play Thursday night game. They don't play the Thursday night and Friday night game already. They finna play 2 back-to-back 10 o'clock games. Out of 5 games, they're gonna only play 1 day game. Every year they do this to Colorado. Colorado might as well change their practices to night game because that's all they finna give you. They didn't get no day games last year to the last couple games. After me, kept putting out there, other people finally joined in on it and said, y'all, we see what y'all doing. And then they beat the mess out of Utah at like 10 o'clock in the morning daytime. They played a 12 o'clock game. They beat the mess out of Oklahoma State. All the games that you notice that they play in the morning when they around the time they practice, they put up 40, 50 points on them. They beat the mess out of teams when they play early. The only game that they really got whooped in the daytime was that Oregon game, and that was psychological warfare in itself. And Travis had just got hurt, but that's the only game that they played that it, in the daytime that they got whooped. Every other game was nighttime. Do your research. I'm calling out as it went. Do y'all see this pattern? Coach Prime finally caught on to it in his staff. They only gonna give y'all night games because if they want y'all to lose, they see y'all too dumb enough to figure out, hey, they trying to set us up. They know we got that like zombies and have slow starts and beef against all airheaded and making mistakes and playing a lot. And Coach Prime be like, I would have never saw that at my 10 o'clock practice this week and we playing these night games. I never would have predicted we would play like this. Well, don't you not see your players got different personalities when they play at night? You see that. Because that's how the mind works. If you're not focused, you're not focused. If your mind and body is contradicting each other, I don't care how talented you are, you're not going to play your best. You're not going to play your best. Because you're dealing with psychological at that point. And psychological is a real thing. It's a real thing. In that case, why do people try to play mind games with people on the field? Yeah. I mean, at some point, like a guy, like you watch these military movies where these people be assassins and all that, and they be getting all shot up, and they be carrying people and swimming and doing all that, like the Equalizer 3. Denzel got shot all kinds of ways. He drove all the way across the country, then passed out after he beat up everybody. They body so trained, they will whoop you wounded. You bring all these military people and doing all these drills, you just show them that component. Your knee hurt. You all you think about is my knee hurt. A soldier ain't thinking about his knee hurt. A soldier think about how I'm gonna whoop you despite my knee hurt. Matter of fact, these other areas finna kick in, these other skills finna kick in. I don't even expect to be 100% and I'm gonna whoop you. That's how a soldier thinks. And that's how your training have to be. I gotta be able to whoop you whether I'm in my best shape or not, whether I'm sick or not. My body gotta be so well trained that even in the roughest situation, I'm able to still perform at a high level. Maybe not be at my highest level, but doing there, you should train yourself where you should be able to perform at a high level regardless. Yeah. We ain't have no training room. What is a training room? Ice tubs. I mean, ice tub we had ice tub. It was a foreign thing. I might have gotten an ice tub a couple times. I didn't know you supposed to get in there every day after practice like these guys doing and all that without 1 or 2 ice tubs. We didn't do that. I've probably been in the ice tub twice my whole career. Probably once or twice in high school, probably once in college. Should I have done it? Absolutely. But that just, yeah. I'm not saying be a dummy and not take care of your body. But what I'm saying is you don't limit yourself with excuses. Yeah. Yeah. I think they did a little practice, but they had the pad on. So that's another thing that I saw the linebackers over there doing tackle drills with the pad. You got pads on, and you tackle me with the pad. That's that crap I'm talking about. Because that's not a real simulation. Because when you hit a man, you're not hitting a pad. You hit arms, you hit legs. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you can't bring a man down. Because arms and legs move. He just not gonna ball up and let you hit him. He gonna put a move on you. You see what I'm saying? If you hit his leg, he gonna move that leg. Or he gonna, you know what I'm saying? He can get out of that. He can get out of that. They better. I mean, look, you don't play 4 night games out of 5. You think it's gonna be done? You got 8 more games. You don't think that at least 5 or 6 of them finna be day games? You a fool. They already showing you the ratio. Every 5 games, give them 1 game. 5 more games. You might get 2 or 3 more day games out of 5. No, out of 8. Out of 8 games, I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty much sure they're gonna give you a Utah night game. You're gonna be sleepy. You're gonna be tired. Your body gonna be like, exactly, thud is not tackling. You can do that you can thud without equipment. You don't need equipment on the thud. You can thud with your regular body if you're gonna thud. I guarantee you, Utah gonna be a night game. I wouldn't be surprised Arizona State be a night game. All the games that remotely they can pull that crap off, they gonna do it. If you remotely in the middle of the state, they finna give you the TCU gonna end up being a night game. That's 3 right there out of what 8 left. Who else you got? Well, West Virginia gonna probably end up being a night game. The only way I see them get a day game, I don't know, man. They might give them 2, 3 more day games. How many day games they played last year? 3 or 4? They played UCF in a day game. They played Arizona. It's sad I can name them. Arizona was a day game, and then them last 2 games they threw them with day game. When they got, I was like, they ain't gave y'all but 2 day games. They gave you one against Arizona. They gave you one against Utah and Oklahoma State, and those were the last 2 games. They said, "Oh, we don't. They own to us. Let's throw them up a couple more," and they beat the mess out of both of them. They threw on some day games because they knew they was screwed. Because I had pointed out, man, these fools don't play 10 day the games, and 8 of them was doggone night games. And they said, "Oh, shut they on us, throw them the day games." And that's how they ended up about 4 day games last year. See, this that foolishness. It's for ratings. Ratings don't have that. So Georgia don't. So Georgia playing at 3 o'clock gonna mess their ratings up. What are you talking about, man? You gonna tell me that 10 o'clock you gonna have better ratings than at 3? When all these people want to go to sleep and gotta go to church next day. How is that ratings? I already done debunked that a long time ago. You're not getting higher ratings at 10 o'clock, 10:15, 10:30 at night. You're not getting higher ratings at 10 o'clock at night than you would at 3 or 4 o'clock in the day. You can miss me all day, left and right. There's no way you're gonna get more ratings. I know plenty of people who went to bed on that game or who ain't even try to watch it because they're older or they had a long day or they ain't finna watch no game until 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning. They're not finna do it. So at the end of the day, that ratings crap, that's a bold-faced lie. If Coach Prime got a following, more people gonna watch him during the day than night. They're gonna watch it because that's who they want to watch. In that case, then why how did Georgia, Oklahoma, and all these other teams have better ratings? They barely ever play at night. They barely ever play at night. And how many night games they play a year, sir? How many night games has Tennessee played this year? You saying they're gonna play Georgia and Tennessee gonna play at night? They play how many night games a year? So you telling me if they played has Georgia played 4 out of the 5 night games? Have they how many they play day games, sir? They got their slot built in. They play at 1 o'clock every day, every week, and they may play a couple night games a year. Colorado play a couple day games a year. You talking about these people? If you're a Colorado fan, they're gonna watch the game regardless. What do you mean? If they're gonna watch him, matter of fact, it's a fact that more people are gonna watch the game in the daytime than they would at night. Because most people is not gonna stay up to 10 o'clock back to back weeks and be dog tired the next day. Like I am right now. And they gotta do it again. You're a fool to say I want to watch them. You think I want to watch the 10 o'clock game if I had a choice? So how is that for the ratings? by putting people in a position to watch a game when they don't want to watch it. You know how many people missed that game because it was too late? They ain't finna play it. They ain't finna play it. You ain't gonna see Texas play a lot of night games. Everybody gonna play a prime time game, a couple a year, a big game, and they gonna do it because in that situation you can say, okay, yeah, that's a prime time game, and it's never really a time nobody else is playing because they got too many doggone channels and apps now. Even when you play on a Thursday night, it's 10 other games playing. You be like, oh, they playing on Thursday because nobody else playing. That's stupid too. Because if you paid attention, it's a whole bunch of games played on Thursday and Friday night. You're never the only one playing because it's too many teams playing and everybody want to be on TV and it's too many channels. And they got these networks that got their own thing. So even if you ain't on Fox, even if you the only one on Fox, but somebody on ESPN while you playing, and somebody on such and such network, Bit 12, Bit 10 network, somebody always playing. So you're never, when they played on Friday night, somebody was playing while they played. Somebody playing before and after them. Because there's so many teams out here and there's so many networks out there. Come on, man. I already had this conversation. I ain't just come out the butt with this. I built this whole nighttime thing that Coach Prime is now using. Last year this time I was having this argument. So this whole theory of ratings and all that's for the birds because I've already debunked the ratings theory. I've already shown that he's getting more ratings during the day game than night. And you can't compare a 7 o'clock game to a 10 o'clock game. Because technically, okay, if they play at 7, that's late. Colorado playing at 8. Just so the East Coast, and all them teams, times can be. But we watching at 10 on the East Coast. We watching the game at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And you want to be deep. Look at how many people he got on the team from the East Coast. Yeah, their bodies may be assimilated to Colorado, but their families, everybody out there, their bodies on 10 o'clock time. They're on 10 o'clock time. The game end at 1 o'clock in the morning our time when they start at 8. Right? So you're looking at a bunch of 8 o'clock games, 8 o'clock game, 8 o'clock game. 4 o'clock game is not a late game. Even a 6 o'clock game is not that late. But once you start again the 8 o'clock games and you playing them over and over again, like you the only one that can play it. Well, that's a lie though. They don't always choose over CU. That's part of the theory that you buying into. Because the first year when Colorado, when it was fighting over CU, where they had Big Noon, show me where else that happened. That with Big Noon in college game, they was on the same campus for the same game. Show me that. Matter of fact, Big Noon came 2 weeks in a row. Are those not major networks? But that same season, Colorado played a bunch of night games. Matter of fact, those were the only day games that Colorado played, and they won most of them. Well, one of those games, matter of fact, one of those Big Noon games, they weren't even. It was on Big Noon, but the game was at 8 o'clock when they played Colorado State. So they played a late game that day, but it wasn't like a 10 o'clock Eastern game. It was like an 8 o'clock Eastern game. But I'm saying that was one of the night games. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I mean, it will make sense. I mean, common sense. You would push up a SEC game because SEC means Southeastern. So you're going to be, most of your games are going to be on the Eastern time. Yet, that doesn't explain at all how your Eastern time always is at 12 and 1 o'clock only. Now, it makes sense that Colorado wouldn't play a lot of noon games because when they did, that means it's 10 o'clock their time. And so the couple times they did play, like when they played Utah, it was like 10 o'clock their time. And that's too early. That's a benefit to Colorado because that's when they practice. And that's why they usually dominate somewhat in those games. I'm not saying they should play 12 o'clock games or even 1 o'clock games. But I'm not saying that they should be playing a whole bunch of 8 o'clock games just because they on a Mountain Time, and they ain't even playing only Mountain Time people. Man, man, them people sleep. I went to a game. So people talking. I went to the game. I felt the impact of the late game and how the stands be packed and everybody be up in that sleep and leaving out at halftime because the game too freaking late. They've been waiting around all day, walking up and around Pearl Street, trying to stall around for the game. And then you get in there and you don't travel, so you ain't on their time. And you walking around all day trying to find stuff to do. You dog tired by the end of the day. You can't cheer as a fan the same way at 10 o'clock at night as you would at 1 o'clock. You tired. Even you want to. Man, I've been walking around all day getting ready for this game. I'm not in the energy to cheer. So that's impact on your home field advantage. I'm up. I'm tired. Yeah, and then so that's foolishness because why does Oregon and they own Pacific time? They should play. They should have more night games than anybody. Really, they should have more night games than anybody, and they not SEC. But they know that you put certain teams in that situation, it's going to affect how they play. I guarantee you. If you put these college teams, especially if you know they college, you know they practice schedules early. Like it would make sense for Georgia if they play most of their games at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock early, the first game out the gate. It will make sense that they practice around that time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. It will make sense for them to practice because that's when most of their games are. Colorado practicing at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and they keep getting thrown 8 o'clock games. Come on, I killed that. Anyway, let's real quick run through good, bad, and ugly. I want to acknowledge the good. Salter played well. Salter played well. I said that I feel like they can put some fire up on the Salter, and it looked like it did. I feel like Salter was kind of nonchalant. Maybe he was scared. Maybe he was sick, whatever. But he needed that fire. Because naturally nonchalant people need fire. Sometimes you're not as aggressive as you should be. It's gonna be tough, man. It's tough. I was in that crowd, man. You in the elevation, walking around all day. By the time the game start, I'm hoping I can stay awake, and so my energy level was low. You know, you got to keep yourself hydrated because Colorado got that sneaky. It ain't like you sweating. Like I got dehydrated and didn't even know it. That's my ears started ringing and everything. I walked around all day like, oh, this elevation is nothing. Man, I couldn't even walk up them stairs by that time because you walking around and that thing make you dehydrated and you don't even know it. I ain't drinking enough water, even though I had drunk some water. So it's a lot of factors out there in that Colorado, but them late games is tough. The sky is black. Can't see the sky is black, man. You practicing in the day. That's another thing I said. You practicing in the day. You can see the ball in the blue sky, the football brown in that blue sky. But that day you ain't practice up on them lights. You got to get used to seeing the ball up on them lights and that black sky and the ball in the sky. It's everything is you got to adjust. You got to adjust. Like and people say, okay, you played in high school. Well, in high school, you freaking practice at night too. My practice started in high school. That's I don't know what other high schools do. Our practice started after we got out of school and then went to the evening. So we practiced from 3 to 6 every day. So when it started getting dark early, it was just getting dark at the end of practice. But guess what? It ain't exactly when you played your games, yeah, but you used to playing in the back end of the day. It's a whole different ball game to turn around and play in the morning. You can feel it. You ain't used to playing in the morning because you didn't practice in the morning. So you like on JV and stuff like that, and you played in the morning. It felt different than when you played in those Thursday afternoons, evenings, or whatever. Because you that's when you practice. But you had to deal with it. But I remember the difference. Remember some Coach Pat, Coach. Oh yeah, they kept talking about Coach. They kept making these comments about Salter and Schumer the whole time, the analysts. But for the most part, I think the play calling looked definitely better. It looked better. It wasn't the same old bubble crap. It was mixed up. I think the routes looked everything looked better. It wasn't just who they was playing. They looked better, and you seen the results. Now I will say this. I heard people give Salter credit, and I'm gonna give him credit right now. Salter at quarterback helps your line look better because that doggone right tackle with 53 Warrior or whatever, He missed so many blocks, and Salter bailed him out. Sawyer just skating, float all around, and he wasn't taking sacks. And then he was escaping sacks, just running. Salter definitely makes your O-line look better. I know for sure if Staub was in there, they would have had several sacks. I don't know what Juju would have did. It would have been some sacks. And so I agree. The offense did look better even in the first week because of Salter. Salter, where he messed up at is he just didn't run when it was open and then moved them chains. And he was missing a lot of passes. You see he wasn't missing a lot of passes. That float he threw to Sincere, he would have missed that the first week. He just was real reckless with his throwing. So he had to put a little fire up on them. He had to put a little fire. 55 was on the left side, I believe. To my Harden, that's when Seaton came out. Somebody said something about 55. I think he was on the left side. He got Seaton out. But yeah, Salter was very good. Of course, the kickoff team still very good. Punt team still very good. I think that they ran the ball pretty good. I ain't putting no stats or nothing like that. I'm gonna say it again. If Salter had a play like that against Georgia Tech, they beat Georgia Tech. I'm serious. See, Shador won a lot of games, Colorado. I guess that's your job for your quarterback. I would think. That's what make Jackson so good. Lamar Jackson so good. That will make you who you are. That's what you get the big bucks for. A lot of people say, you move Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, not that good. Duh. If you move Allen from Buffalo, you're not that good. You move Hurts, they're not that good in Philly. Duh. That's why you the starting quarterback. So when you look at it, Salter make or break his team. And he made his team yesterday. And I'm telling you, that version of Salter is what Colorado and what I was thinking about. He gonna open up your passing game. Because y'all take off running, trying to save y'all. So now you see Amarion on cut loose, and you don't see. Now you realize Sincere can run, and he get behind you, you ain't catching him. Now y'all like, oh shucks, we get Joseph Williams involved in the game, and the running game kick out. The line ain't gotta be that great. So now they're gonna be like, we can't do all that blitzing, and you mess around and get a tight end actually involved in the game, and start dumping that mess right behind them blitzing, and Salter run like that. It's gonna make the team look way better than they actually are. Like Shador made the team look better than they actually were. They lost 4 games. They won 4 games out of 12 the first year. And out of the 8 they lost, only 6 was blowouts. Everything else was by a touchdown or less. They lost multiple games by a field goal. Some by 6 points, some by 7 points. They shouldn't have been in those games. The line was atrocious. The defense was horrible then, and yet they was in most of those games because Shador was making plays. If Salter make plays, he can take a lot of pressure off his line and allow his team to build confidence. They would have beat Georgia Tech if he had played. I can't speak on Houston. They probably would beat them too. But the way he played yesterday, they would beat a lot of these teams. They would have the record that we expect. So, yeah. Yeah. They typically play 3:30, but they do play 1 o'clock games. They do play 1 o'clock games. I've been in Georgia my whole life. I've been watching Georgia my whole life. They do play 1 o'clock games. They absolutely do. They absolutely do play the first slot a lot. Now you talking to somebody in Georgia now. I ain't in Colorado. I'm born and raised in Georgia. See what happened when the Saints. Yeah. The quarterback make a difference. Yeah. And I am aware that they play 7:30. The fact that you can point that out says to prove my point that they don't play that many night games. They play a couple night games a year for their big games. But most of their games are 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Those are considered day games, by the way. Those are day games, especially Easter. 3 o'clock Easter. Not 3 o'clock Central, not 3 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Easter. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get there. The bad. I'm going to say that for ugly, so I'll get back to that. Oh, yeah, they would have ran away with the game. Because Salter had started off pretty good. That's why they was up on them first touchdown. If Salter had been playing like that the whole game, they would have jumped up on Georgia. They would have been 21-0 before you knew it. They would have stepped on the gas because Georgia Tech was fumbling the ball and crap. And Salter had to just took the ball in his hands, like and not through them crazy missed throws and ran like that. Georgia Tech would have been there doing that with them. They would have been there to do nothing with Colorado. Because there's no way in the world Colorado. Everybody try to sell, oh, they really should have blew Colorado away. No, Colorado should have blew them away too. So what are you talking about? You can go either way. But based off the game, the way Georgia Tech played and Colorado played the worst game. They made the most mistakes. And yet Georgia Tech only beat them by 7 points. It's not the other way around. Yeah, they crazy. The commercial's crazy. Oh goodness. Well, hey, that was coming. They deserve every bit of that. I could told them that. I don't even know about the Brown. Come on now. They earn every bit of that. They want that. They get off. Their victims love to be a victim. So Colorado first quarter 0-0. Now that first quarter went so fast. That's one thing about Salter. His first quarters, he don't score a lot in his first quarters. That's probably why they moved him because they weren't used to that. Like Georgia Tech, all right, we scored that first one. That's all we scored. Delaware, I think he came out a little bit. Salter, he don't really score a lot of points in the first quarter. I guess it's a more balanced team. So, yes, sir. Have not had many self-inflicted wounds like they did against CU. Yeah. Colorado, you gonna tell me Colorado ain't have more just because they didn't fumble the ball. Colorado has been nothing but self-inflicted wounds. Georgia Tech was only in the game because of Colorado's self-inflicted wounds. All them missed tackles, all them missed drop balls, all them bad throws was self-inflicted wounds. So Colorado 0-0. Then they just ran on a spree. 21 points in the second quarter. Remember I told you about the practice schedule. 21 points in the second quarter. Then they let them kick a field goal. Colorado went into halftime 21-3. That don't look dominant, but it looked dominant, because they ain't scoring nothing. Because Colorado was shutting that mess down. They weren't running nothing. They weren't running the ball. Then third quarter came. Colorado only scored 7. And then Wyoming scored 10. So it was 28-13. So that still looked close. So technically they won that round. Then Colorado ended up scoring 9 because he got that safety. But they both scored a touchdown in the fourth. So Colorado, good thing about Colorado, they kept scoring. Last year, I didn't like when they jump up and then they didn't score the rest of the game and just kick field goals. They kept scoring after that, which says a lot of good things. They got to figure out how to score more in the first quarter. If Colorado scored in the first quarter, this game is 20 to at least 20-42. It looks a whole different game. Now, why did they get 20? Let's get into the bad. The tackling is still bad. We know you know how to tackle because you did it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It looked different. They doing something different. But Colorado shut that mess down. They couldn't run nothing. Let me see the stats. So Colorado total yards. Check this out. This is what I didn't like about the UCF game. Colorado had 497 total yards. Wyoming had 347. So Colorado had about 150 points more than them. But the fact is they almost got pretty well balanced because they almost had 400 yards. They had 182 passing yards. Colorado had 304. So that boy threw over 300 yards. But rushing wise, they rushed 165. We almost had to put our good old boy J.R. Boxing in the portal because he was only a little bit away because he wanted to say they rushed 200 yards. Well, they had 165. And boy, they probably took a couple sacks to save you. I told them don't play with that. Now, the rushing yards for Colorado was 193. So they only did about 30 more yards. Colorado was averaging 8.4. And Wyoming was 5.4. So Colorado really could have ran more. Colorado had 23 first downs. And surely Wyoming went on a spree the second half and got 20. So they only had 3 more first downs. They was 5 for 13 on third down. at Wyoming, better than Colorado. Colorado was 5 for 10. See, to my dominance. Look at this, and it was 1 for 1 on the fourth. Wyoming actually ran 67 plays to Colorado's 59, which shows how they dominated the clock in the second half. Another team dominated the clock on Colorado, but they punted 4 times, and Colorado punted 3. Like the big plays to help Colorado. Now they had more penalties than Colorado, 7, but Colorado had 5. And I can tell you at least 3 of those penalties was what we consider bogus. No interceptions. Wyoming had the ball longer than Colorado, 32 minutes, 4 seconds. And Colorado only had it 27.56 seconds. Y'all hear that? See, this is where the stats come in. I know it's a place for stats and everything. Colorado didn't have the ball as long. They didn't have too much anything better than them other than total yards, right? So here you are looking at the fact that Colorado, see, they didn't win that battle. They didn't win that battle in dominance like the score. That's why the score looked close. But it has a lot to do with what happened in the second half. So that's just offensive stats. Then we look at individual player stats. They quarterback in Wyoming threw 107 yards. And let's see. Rushing yards, that boy got 126 yards, 6.6 a carry. Harris. They had receivers kind of spread out. But one receiver, number 2, got 41 yards off of 1 catch. See how you can manipulate stats? 1 catch. Then another one got 27 yards, 1 catch. Then the other ones just kind of sprinkled in 2 for 18, 1 for 13. And that's how you come up with all them yards. So, but when you look at Colorado threw for 304 yards. Salter ran for 86. Welch ran for 67 because he had a big long one. Taylor only had 22. 9 carries, only 22 yards somehow. Miller had 88 yards passing. Sincere had 68. Joseph Wood has 47. Timmons had 30. Hakeem Williams had 26. Draylen Miller had 25. So you see, those are bigger chunks and it's more people. If they played yesterday, they probably would have beat them. So you say tomorrow, yeah, they probably would have beat them yesterday. Just off of Salters, just looking at side by side. Did the defense play that much better? No, that's why we talking about bad. The defense, they played good in the first half. Shut them down 3 points. They couldn't move that ball. It looked like you can feel sorry for Wyoming. And Colorado was scoring. But then they came out in the second half and they couldn't stop nothing. The boy was running all over them like everybody else did. And that's when they started moving the ball in the third quarter. And that's when the time of possession came in and all that. And it looked, okay, you can't say it's a team thing because they did just what Georgia Tech did. They did what Wyoming, they did what Houston did. So the defense know what to do. And yet they went back to their old habits. Maybe because, again, they got little short tension, simple brains. Maybe, them 1 hour practice kicked in. They went strong for an hour and then, okay, I'm checked out after halftime because they ain't used to focusing for more than an hour. I think that's probably more likely than anything because what else do you explain? They know how to tackle when they want to. They know how to tackle in the first quarter. They was very stern and stubborn, but then they couldn't do it the whole game. And we keep talking about how neither side of the ball know how to play a full game. Well, they don't do no full practice either. They don't do a full nothing. And it shows. Like, the offense can go and put up 30 points in one half and then don't do that in the next half, first or second half. Defense can go shut you down first half or they can shut you down second half. But all we keep saying is when they going to put a whole game together. They ain't. It's something in the culture in the program that ain't going to allow. You can go hit each other up and practice all day. They practice on the hour. So, based off of what I seen yesterday, the way they played, if you can bring that kind of energy, which not even realistic, because that was the first game. And that was his first game after the reps limitations and after all that. So that's if was a fifth type of stuff. So I can't say I can make him play 5 weeks in, 4 weeks in, like he should have played the first week. That come with it. He gonna get better every week because he gonna get more comfortable and more confident. And people gonna be more confident in him, especially after this week. They were still questioning, is it him or Juju the first week? And then you see Staub came in. So Hopefully he solidified. He's more comfortable. He back and believing himself. And the way he played yesterday, the way he was throwing the ball, he wasn't making a lot of erroneous throws, and his running was on point. If he can do that, he can beat a lot of teams because that's what most teams have trouble with. They have trouble with mobile quarterbacks, especially when they worry about they finally start to recognize you got receiver weapons. They got to say, okay, Omarion, he's a problem. We're gonna have to put two people over there. But Sincere, he get behind you, and as long as they on the field at the same time on opposite end of the field, and then you got that means that Joseph Williams to eat. As long as they got to worry about that, they're gonna open up the run game all day long. But they have to solidify that. But yeah, we're gonna get into that. Yeah, they creating stuff. That's what I watched them do the whole first year. See, they think I'm making theories up. I'm telling you this. Put a pin in this. If Colorado beat BYU next week, all this energy gonna change. Just like it did last year after they lost Nebraska and they went on a run, all that energy changed. Because people got this stigma about BYU, even though they're not the same team. But they wanted to bury Colorado. But if Colorado go and beat BYU next week, the whole energy gonna shift about Colorado. I'm telling you that right now. Even though this gas game wasn't a conference game and they want to be undefeated in the conference. If they hit BYU in the mouth, everybody their energy gonna switch up. I'm telling y'all that right now. I'm trying to see Colorado's schedule. This is, we've been looking at Colorado's schedule for a long time. It's time to look at this schedule and see what it is. So, Colorado has BYU next week. They ain't got nothing easy. Then they got to turn right around and go to TCU. That's ugly. They got to go right back to TCU. Then Iowa State come to Colorado. Then Utah. Ain't nothing easy about what they got these next, 4 games. These are the top teams they're going to play. Iowa State still ranked at number 14. TCU still ranked. And Utah pretty much just lost their rank, losing to another ranked team. They don't do that to SEC teams, though. They lost 1 game, and they don't throw Utah away. And they ain't even a Utah fan. The back end, you got West Virginia, Arizona State, Kansas State, out to Arizona. These next 4 games are telling. But if they beat BYU, people going to look at them a little different. It's just what it is. Coming open, trust me, it'll be calling Coach Prime. Yeah. I mean, he bring the money in the crowd. And he ain't got no loyalty here. You gotta think about that. His kid's gone. Especially if the Texas school call. He be get to go back home. Colorado gotta be careful. He don't owe Colorado nothing. After this, really, he can do a couple years at Colorado. He don't owe them nothing. He get Jordan Seaton and all them boys out of there. He don't owe them nothing. Yeah, they rank who they want to rank. So, let's get ugly. We know Colorado and tackle. Let's finish up with ugly. These referees, I'm going to end with this. These referees are dirty. It's blatantly every third down. I told somebody to do the research. Hope one of y'all do. Colorado got to be the most penalized third down team over the past few years. They specialize in making teams get extra possession. That's how Colorado lost all them games that they lost when they was 4-8. It was because of that. How many times did Colorado get a stop that was going to lead to a field goal, a change of possession, a punt, and they called it, and it cost Colorado the game? It's going to be a pass interference or roughing the pass because he bumped into the quarterback. Something. They ain't calling no holding. They ain't calling nothing that's going on. But they always found a way to get teams to get them into a scoring position or get them into a field goal position. And that's how Colorado lost them close games. That's how they lost to Arizona 2 years ago. That's how they lost to Oregon State 2 years ago. They stole the game straight out from them against Utah. That's 3 games. That's 3 games right there. Then, the UCLA game, they did against UCLA. And then they took Charlotte out the game on a bogus hit call, right? So that's 4 games right there. Colorado, like I always said, they were easy 7-5, 8-4 that year. His very first year. But they didn't want Coach Prime to get that kind of accolade because he was a recruiting monster then. They didn't want him to have no momentum. And he would go in there his first year and be able to say, I turned a 1-11 team to 8-4 his first year and go to a bowl game his first year. Oh, man, that would have been too much. So they robbed him. And so they gave you a snippet of what they can do, even though we ain't seen it. Even though Colorado ain't got 10, 11, 12 penalties a game like they used to, because they had to do that against Shador, because that's the only way they can tame him. They had no way to tame him. So they called penalties, and they let his receivers get mauled. They let him get hit after the whistle. That's the only way they tamed Shador. Because Shador was in every game, pretty much. He could be in every game. So that's how they control Colorado, by allowing teams to maul them and cheat on them and call them penalties and making the game closer than what it have to be. That's how they beat them. So we got a chance to see for the first time this year how they can just get really stupid. And every time Colorado did something good, pass interference. Every time they about to get off the field, 3rd and long, automatically first down, 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row. That's what ate up a lot of the clock. You talking about time of possession? That's what ate it up right there. And that gave them 3 more chances to get extra 4 more plays. And Colorado stopped them again. Then they give them another penalty. Now, some of those penalties we seen, you can say, okay, they was touching, especially some of the other games. But those ones that they called last night was so fickle and so suspicious, especially when you're not calling both ways like that. Unless it just get outrageous. So, yeah, you can say they called some on Colorado for Colorado later, but it wasn't game deciding things. Because you so smart. Why do you keep calling them on 3rd downs? Why are you not calling them on the 1st and 2nd? You call them when every time Colorado stop them, you extend the drive of the other team, and hopefully the other team catch on to it. And they just didn't. They weren't good enough. But what it is doing, you making Colorado have more wear and tear on their body. You keeping the defense on the field. You giving the other team more time of possession, which further shows we talk about why Colorado didn't score no points the first quarter. You gave half of the quarter to Wyoming with penalties, bogus penalties. So you kept the offense. You kept the offense out the field, not them. So now you're looking at the fact why Colorado didn't have another touchdown or 2 in the game, strictly off the referee doing blatantly bogus call on national TV. Everybody looking at it like, well, this is weird stuff. But we used to it. We seen it the whole first year in Coach Prime. When Coach Prime was 4-0 or 3-0, and they went to cheating like a mug at that. Travis Hunter got his whole liver split or whatever off of them not calling calls. They didn't call targeting. They didn't put that about the game. He missed 2-3 games and had to recover for 2-3 games, was throughout their season. We came back against Stanford out of shape. And even though they had them 29-0, those things hurt Colorado. Penalties. The penalties called against them and the penalties not called for them. It's ugly, y'all. I told you how to put heat on these folks and let them folks know you see it. All these content creators, I told you before, put the heat on these folks so they know you see them. I believe that's the only reason Colorado got them last 2 night games last year. I'm the reason keep talking about it. Why Coach Prime realized he had to flip the schedule. They listen, and we all watching this mess. They may call them to Florida. Okay, I guess they've been saying that for the last 2 years. Yeah, they should have been bowl team that first year. They even with a horrible line, because that shows you how powerful the QB play is. So now here we are, y'all. If they're not terrified of him, you see what they did. Both of his sons ain't playing. One on the roster, one ain't. I mean, one of them might even be on the roster the way they treat him, because they're making a point. Hey man, him putting all the people on the line and leaving his people in man, that's the crap. I ain't really see it last year to Kansas State. It don't work. He put everybody on the line, they still don't get the sack. You put 8 people on the line, look like, and they still don't get the sack. And all they do is run a drag route right back into the middle or something. Matter of fact, I was audible when I see it, because I ain't seen them fools step out of it yet. I didn't see them do any kind of positionless defense yet. I have not seen them yet bluff. I have not seen them lined up and drop back into coverage. I have not seen it. Maybe once. And that's just the middle linebacker. They don't give nobody no look to throw them off. They line up on the line. They actually gonna all try to blitz. They don't try to trick the lineman for nothing. And then they don't even get home. So I don't get why you keep doing that. I don't think that's not good. It's not working. Yeah, I haven't seen what they said recently, but I mean, I don't know if they're a hate channel, but I just know that I guess they offended that Coach Prime ain't listened to. Like, I'm sure they sent them stuff and he said stuff and Coach Prime didn't acknowledge it. And I'm sure that's what it is. He bothered by that. But he did send Sincere Brown. He did try to send Pun. So I think he offended by stuff like that. It's, it's not Buff. His name not Buff Prime. T Cal. I don't think it's Buff Prime is the channel. But I mean, I think he do know a lot of stuff. Young too, man. The dude ain't. I don't even think the dude 30. There's a lot of stuff he doing. Say he gonna see how foolish he looking in about 10 years, unless he just be an old fool. But he just young, and so that's what it look like. But he do know the stuff he talking about. He do know. I mean, I don't agree with everything he said. I think he oversaid. I think Salter is good, but I don't think that Salter was playing perfect. Just like I think he has some. He likes some of the players. That everybody got who they like, and I think he likes some of the players more than others. And everybody got the right to like who they like. So I don't think that what he say all is wrong, and I don't think what he say all is right. And clearly he feel that way about other people and about Coach Prime. So it is what it is. But I think everybody have their place. I think I have my place in this time, and um, I think that the Buff and Prime have their place. I think all of them, Chico. I think all these different people who've been around, and some of the people we got B Watch show who's doing the show every 10 seconds these days. You know, and the different people who come on, and they let different people come on the platform who didn't have a platform, and then you got the CU aunties going on. The Rob the Man still out there. He started around the time I started, right before I started. So a lot of these guys, I remember, man. I don't have the time or whatever. Life in football, everybody have their place. I can't say nobody right or wrong because clearly we are all different personalities, different perspective, and I think that's what benefits the community at large. That's why the Colorado community is so strong because they have so many strong perspectives and consistent people. Man, these people consistent. These people been doing it for a minute, especially since Coach Prime got there, and they're not like tied into Colorado, so they're not limited to the past. Like what Colorado. Some people who do have Colorado history, they're good too because you got something to compare to. You got perspective, but these people got a fresh perspective coming in with Coach Prime, and that's what make the Colorado fan base the most unique fan base in college football. Not because they play the best football, but I mean these people really know their fans. I mean they really know their players and their coaches, and they got access to like well all it ain't what it used to be far as access. So you still got to reach the people. You still got pregame. You still got these things where you can get some inside information, and then you can kind of have your own little network where you kind of talk it out. You got people over there on Twitter cussing and fighting with each other, but they Colorado people. There's nowhere else you can find that. And I think that's what attracts people to Colorado because you got something to say and you have a chance to say it. Whether you have your own platform like this or whether you're over there in the chat and you get to see some familiar faces and everybody kind of be together. So it's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Maybe do a little inspiration, motivation, y'all later. But like I told y'all, man, this thing just beginning. It's a long season, but a fast one at the same time. It's long, but it's fast. And boy, it's never bored week to week. You know, yeah, yeah. It's a lot going on, man. People got personality. I hope they live and learn, but it ain't that deep. But yeah, I'm just Greg said, and make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all have a great rest of y'all Sunday.